Hi there guys, this is Miss Oshi and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do two-digit subtraction without regrouping. I'm going to teach you 5 different ways and this video actually goes along with my two-digit addition lesson. So I'm going to teach you the same 5 ways that I taught how to do two-digit addition, but this time I'm going to use those same ways to do subtraction. Okay, so let's get started. We're actually going to start with a hundredths chart, and I'm actually using a 120 chart, but it works the same exact way as a hundredths chart. Now, the subtraction problem here is 57 minus 23. But it's important to realize that the number 57 is not just a 5 and a 7. It's 5 groups of 10 and 7 ones, just like 27 is actually 2 groups of 10 and 3 ones. Now, the very first step here is to find the biggest number on our hundredths chart. When subtracting, you always start with the biggest number and then you take away the smaller numbers. So, finding our biggest number, 57, I'm going to go find that here. All right, so I have 1s, 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 57. So once you've found 57, guess what? You're already done with the number 57. Now what we have to do is subtract 23. Now, the super cool thing about hundredths charts is that when you go up, you're actually subtracting by tens. When you go down, you're adding by tens. When you go to the right, you're adding ones. And when you go to the left, you're subtracting ones. So, just like this. Okay, 35, if you go here, you add 1. Here, you subtract 1. Up, subtract tens. Down, adding tens. Just like these red arrows too that I put on the side here. So, with our number 57, we're going to subtract 23. Well, if I'm going to go and take away 2 groups of 10, which is the same as 20, do I need to go up, down, right, or left? Well, that's right, I need to go up, because going up takes away tens. So each time I go up a row, I am subtracting 10. So I'm starting at 57, and I'm taking away 10, 20. Okay? So we're already done with that 20 and 23. Now I need to take away 3 ones. So when I'm taking away ones, or subtracting ones on my hundredths chart, I need to go to the left. So I'm going to take away 1, 2, 3. So what is 57 minus 23? It's 34. So let's look at that one more time, okay? I'm going to take this away. So I have 57, and I'm going to take away 20, 10, 20, gets me 37, and then 3 ones. 1, 2, 3. And that gets me 34. Okay? All right, the next method is subtraction on an open number line. And when using a number line, the bigger number is almost always on the right, and the smaller numbers are usually on the left. Because we're going to start with a bigger number, we're going to put 57, our biggest number, on the right here. Okay, so 57, guess what? We're done with that one. So now I have 23 to take away. Well, I don't know what 57 minus 23 is yet, so instead I'm going to take away the tens and then the ones. So how many tens are in 23? 2. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 big hops backwards from 57 because I'm taking away 10, 20. And I need to label these. Remember, I'm subtracting 10 with each jump. Okay? All right. What is 57 minus 10? 47. What is 47 minus 10? 37. All right. So now I'm done with my 20 because 10 and 10 is 20. Now I just have to take away 3 ones. So I'm going to do 3 little hops for my ones. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. All right, so 37 minus 1 is 36. 36 minus 1 is 35. And 35 minus 1 is 34. Right, so our answer is 34. And you can double check to make sure you subtracted the right amount by adding up these numbers. So 10 plus 10 is 20, 21, 22, 23. So 57 minus 23, yep, is 34. Okay? This next method is subtracting using base 10 blocks. So once again, the first thing you're going to do is start with the biggest number. And we're going to draw that with base 10 blocks. And when we draw base 10 blocks, remember one stick or line is worth 10. So I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. All right, now you kind of get the picture that these are dots. I know they're not perfect, but they don't have to be. Now, subtracting base 10 blocks is a little different than than adding base 10 blocks. So when you add base 10 blocks, you first make this number, and then you make the next number, and then you count them up. But in this case, we only start with the biggest number, and then we take away the smaller number. So I'm not going to be drawing anymore. I'm only going to take what I have and then subtract this 23. So I have 57 and I need to take away 23. So I'm going to take away 10, 20, 21, 22, 23. So my answer is whatever is left over. Okay? So what's left over? 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Make sure you don't draw 23. Okay? I've seen some students make mistakes where they do 57 base 10 blocks and then they draw another 23 base 10 blocks and then they get confused because now they have much more than they need. Okay? Don't forget too, 5 is actually 50 and 7 is 1. Ones. And this 2 is actually 20 and this 3 is ones. Okay? Our next one is subtracting using place value. So just like I said before, this 5 isn't actually a 5. It's a 50 or 5 tens and 7 ones. And in here we have 2 groups of 10 and 3 ones. Now I like breaking numbers into houses because that number has different parts and each part is actually different. So this is actually 5 tens and 5 tens is 50 And then this room is ones. So that means we have 7 in here. This room is a tens again. So it's not just 2, it's actually 20. And this is a ones room. So it's a still 3. Okay? Now, it's called place value because we're going to take the place values and subtract like place values. So here we've got 50 and we're going to subtract 20. So you take the 50 and subtract 20. And I get, well, 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 3 is, 5 minus 2 is 30. Okay, and now I'm going to do 7 minus 3. And that gets me 4. But it gets a little tricky now because I have to end up adding in here. I know, I thought this was subtraction too. But when it comes to place value and subtracting, you have to end up adding your tens and your ones because this is just expanded form and we need to put it back in standard form. So we're going to do 30 plus 4. Remember, we've got our groups of 10 and our groups of ones, and we need to combine them. So 30 plus 4 is 34. Okay? So our answer is 34. All right, and our last step here, our last method is the standard algorithm. Now, I keep emphasizing the importance of place value. And in these two numbers, we have groups of 10 and groups of 1. Now, when we come to standard algorithm, you have to stack them on top of each other. And you have to put the biggest number on top with the smaller number on the bottom. Okay? Then you have to make sure that they're lined up based on place value. So 7 is in the ones place value, and 3 is also in the ones place value. So they're on top of each other. 5 is a group of 10, and 2 is a group of 10. So they're on top of each other. I always like to do this so that I can tell that they are two different place values. Okay? And then I go in and I label this as my ones, O for 1, and T for tens. Now, I am ready to subtract. With the standard algorithm, you always start by subtracting your ones first. It's very important that you get used to subtracting ones first, because this will be important in the future. So you do 7 minus 3, and that equals 4. Then you do 5 minus 2, and that equals 3. But this is actually 50 and 20. So if you were to do this in expanded form, it would actually be 30 plus 4. So what's our answer? 34. All right, so here I have some practice problems for you to try out. You can get yourself a blank piece of paper and copy these down and then practice them. You can use these 5 methods I've taught you to help you solve these problems. And when you're done, you can check back at the end of this video and see the answers, okay? And it's always best if you try to subtract with 2 different methods. So please try your best. And I'm really glad that you were watching my video. Thank you, and make sure to ask me if you have any questions. Good luck!